Hello everyone, welcome back. As part of our previous video, we have developed some of the artifacts which are needed for our real-time wrap application. We have already discussed about the requirement, what are the things we are going to do in this playlist. So you can go and watch the first video to know about the context of this application and what are the things we will be covering up in this application. And here, if we observe, we have defined some of the behavior definition and interface views, and we have defined the metadata extension also to view the fields whatever we require. And we have defined some of the actions which are needed for this application also. And let us go inside the class. So if we go to the local types here, we can see the method signature here. For method enter number, we have the importing parameter as keys, and we have the things defined as for this action which is of the CDS view, it is defined. And for create delivery, it is something extra where we have the additional parameter result which name as result. Why we are getting this extra means if we go to the method, if we go to this action declaration, we have result extra here for the create delivery, but here we don't have this result extra. We can add result also. Maybe you are thinking since we have used parameter we cannot add result. That's not the case. We can add the result here also. See, there are no syntax errors at all. But if you are trying to add something whenever your method is generated, it will cause the issues. So you have to create some other method, you have to define some other action and delete this one because the method signature will be different. If you know the method signature, you can just replace the or edit the method signature with the correct signature, then you will be able to execute it without any errors. But once the method implementation is generated, if you edit something here in your action declaration, then it will cause issues, because if you are adding something or removing something, then it will impact the method signature. So let us go here. Here already we have written some piece of code which is EML operation. This EML syntax, which is of read entities long form. If you don't know this read entities long form syntax, you can go to my RIP playlist and you can watch that. I have clearly explained how to write this one and what is short form and long form also. Let us view the service. If I click on go, we have the data coming, and if I select any of the record and click on this action and enter some number, after entering some number, I want this number available inside my method, which is enter number, this one. And using this number, I wanted to do the calculations, and after calculations I wanted to store the calculated value inside this field, calculated quantity, and both the fields should be updated here instead of 0. So that's how my functionality should work. So since I have already written some read syntax, let us check how it will work. I have placed the breakpoint. Let me click on this one. The breakpoint will trigger. Yes, it has triggered. I'm doing F5. If I do, okay, I have pressed F6. So let us check if there is anything in result or not. LT data is the final internal table. We don't have anything. I want to show you something. Let me execute it again. I am entering the same number again. And now what I will do means I will do F5. If you observe, it is going inside the method read. Here I don't have any code for it, so it will return back. Now it is coming into our method enter number. So in unmanaged scenario, what you have to understand is if you are using this read entities, implicitly it will go to the read method and there you have to write the code. Then only your read will work. Else it won't get any data. If you are seeing here, we don't have any data. So let us implement the read. Let us go to our read method. This is my read method and I'm doing the select. I need the fields whatever I have to fetch. So I will be going inside the CDS view and I'm getting the fields here. Sales order and item, and what are all the other fields? Material, order quantity, unit, order quantity. Material, order quantity, unit, order quantity, and then we have enter number and calculate quantity. Enter number, calculate quantity. From where we have to get? From the CDS view, whatever we have defined, which is our base view. Into table, at the rate of data, LT data. As of now, I have written like this. So this select query meaning is I'm getting the data inside LT underscore data. But if you observe here, for read method signature, we have the importing parameter as keys and result is the result parameter. So to get the data, you have to pass the data to your result parameter. Then only you will be getting the data. We can see this as well. So I'm writing if size about c equal to 0, result equal to corresponding hash of LT underscore data. So I have to get the data from LT data to result. And if, and let us activate this one. Okay, our code is activated now. Now let us see if we are getting the data or not now. Let me go here, refresh it. Okay, we have the breakpoint set. I will be entering the number again. We are inside read entities. It will go to read. So I'm executing this select query and LT data. We have 302 records. Why we have 302 records? Because whatever is there in your output, all the things it has retrieved. So If you write simply select query, this is the way how it will work. Now let us execute this one, and result as of now it is 0. Now it is also 302. And if you just open the first record 1 to 10, this is my first record, and sales order, item, material, order quantity, unit, and order quantity, and these two values, these are coming 0 because we don't have any values. Similarly, for all the records it will be displaying that. Now let us go to our read. So how many records we have? 302 records, but we need the record whatever we have selected. So for that we have to use the importing parameter. Then only we can get the record whatever is selected, which is keys. So if keys is not initial, that means user has selected something initial, and here I will just close the end if. Now activate this one and let us debug this one again. Now doing F5 and going inside this one. Yeah, if you observe these keys, we have one record. That is the record whatever we have selected. The sales order number is 15. If you observe here in keys, the sales order number is 15, and this is the record, and we have the control structure available where sales order, all these things are coming as one. And in LT data now we have still 302 records. Here we are saying that if case is not initial, that means here we are getting only one record, but here we are getting the entire data because you are not at all using the keys in your select query. You have to use the keys. So these are the different simple mistakes we will be doing whenever we are starting with the wrap. That's where I wanted to show you like how the wrap will work. If we don't use keys, if we use keys, and if we are using keys and using them not in the select query, how the impact will be, you have to know. Then only it will be easy for you to write the code from your upcoming objects. So here I will be using for all entries in at the rate of keys. Now I will be writing the where condition, where sales order equal to, since this is my key field, I will be using this one, keys of sales order. If you have the same sales order number with a uh, different records will have the sales order number, you can use some other key so that you will be getting the unique record whatever you are selecting. Since I have only one sales order for each record which is unique, so I'm not doing that. Now let us check. I hope it will work. Now we are in read entities and keys. Obviously we will be getting the one record and select query, and here in our LT data now we are getting only one record because we have passed the sales order. We are getting the required result here, and in result we have only one record. Now, if we are going with this read entities of syntax in LT data, we have the data now. Since we have implemented the read method, then only you will be getting the data if you are using this read entities EML syntax. Okay, now we got the data inside LT underscore data, but we are not getting the one whatever we have entered in the front end, which is enter number. If you observe here, these two are zero. Whatever is there coming in your particular output, those only coming. It is not taking the one which is entered in the front end. So we have to take the value which is entered at the front end. So for that, what I will do means I will get the data into one particular structure from the keys. If you observe here, like keys is also an important parameter for the enter number method also. So I have the keys available here and first record. That means the first record I am taking and passing into a structure. And from that structure, what I will do means if we just observe here ls underscore key, and okay, since I have not assigned any variable, it is not taking lv underscore enter number. I want the enter number basically. Now let us do control plus space. We have lot of parameters here. Our action is action with parameters. I am using action with the parameter, right? So I'm using this parameter, and inside this one you are getting the enter number, which is the one whatever we need. Now let us activate this one. Let me put the breakpoint here. Now let me enter the number and come here. So now keys, if we observe here, we have only one record because we have selected only one record, that we know, and we are getting the record whatever we have selected. So in our structure, obviously it will be coming one record, and in our structure we have lot of things, percentage param we have, and inside that we have enter number 5. Now in our variable, whatever the number we have entered, that will be coming. So we got the data whatever we have entered in the front end. Now if I do execute this one, it is just read entities. We will be getting the data whatever we got as usual. These two will be coming zero because these are not updated in the front end screen. These are still zero. Even if we have entered the number as 5, this is not updated. Once that is updated, then only we will be getting the number whatever we have entered. Now I wanted to get the data in my LT, whatever is there in my LT data, I wanted to store it in a structure for using it later. So data of ls underscore data equal to, I'm using the new syntax using the value hash operator lt underscore data. We have the sales order field, sales order equal to, since I have the ls key which is already the selected record, I'm using this one and I'm passing it here. And for not causing the dumps, I am using the optional keyword. Even if there is no record, the dump should not happen. So now I got the data here. Now I wanted to do the calculation. Data of LV calculated quantity equal to where I have the number inside LV underscore enter number into let us multiply by quantity, and if we just multiply by quantity we have to use this LT data, which is order quantity, and that order quantity maybe I will just divide it by 10. I'm just doing some random calculation. You can do, okay, E is not there. You can do whatever the calculation you wanted to do. So now we have the quantity available here, the calculated quantity. But the calculated quantity is available now, and the enter number is also available. But these two things we have to update in the front end. If we do just update and all, it won't allow here because it will give dumps. Update, modify these things you can update table like that you cannot do. You have to, these two fields are something which are like custom, these are not from the standard, so you have to store it somewhere. Where can we store the data? We can store that in a table. So for that purpose we will be creating a table. So let us create the table. New database table, gdb underscore table, table for storing data, and finish. Now I have the table template ready. So I am using this sales order as a key field, vbln underscore va, which is not null. Let us go here. Water item also key field and material also key field. Okay, here we have mentioned item and material also key field. But if you have the unique sales order, then you can use only sales order as the key field. As of now, I am using only item. What is the type for that? I think it is POSNR. For key fields, it is always advisable to keep as not null. And these two key fields I am using. Why I am creating this table means I have to store the data of those two particular fields in this particular table. But directly you can't store the data into this table. How you can store the data indirectly to this table we will be seeing. But why do those two fields only you need to store the data, right? But why I am declaring these two fields means we don't know for which record we have to update the values. So these two keys will help you to which record you have to update the value. So I will be using those two fields, which is calculated underscore quantity, and I can use the quantity because that is a quantity field. And if I use the quantity field, obviously I'm getting the error that the reference information is missing. So I'm using semantics dot quantity dot unit of measure. We should be getting that. Yeah. So for that purpose, I am defining this field also vrkma, which is the reference field for quantity. So here what we have to do means we have to define the table along with the reference field name. So this is done. We will be now the error should be removed. Still it is showing me. Let me refresh this one. Okay, these things are correct. Now I wanted to use the field enter number also. So for that I am using the field name and I am giving it as integer 4. Okay, refresh and pretty printer. Okay, these are not working. Let me activate it directly. I think it should. Yeah, now. Oh, errors. Okay. Oh, okay. Somehow that semantic information it has not taken. Semantics dot quantity dot unit of measure, and here we have to mention the table name along with the field name. Yeah, now it got removed. So now my table is also ready. So this table is independent if you observe. All the remaining artifacts, whatever we have created until now, those are interlinked with each other. Like we are creating on top of one another and using them inside some other like that. But if we are updating this table, this updated data should be linked with the artifacts whatever we have created. That means we should be using this table somewhere in our code so that once the table data got updated, when it is linked with our artifacts, the front end also will be updated. Once the connection is there, then only our updated data will be up, present in our front end screen. So for that, let us go to our data definition. This is not our data definition. And if you observe as of now, we don't have any records. We have zero records. Let me close this one. Where is our data definition? This is abstract entity. Yeah, this is the one. So here I will be adding some other association. Association 0 to 1, because in our table at starting there won't be any record, but after inserting there can be one record for every unique entry. And 2, what is our table name? this table name which is zdb underscore table on. I wanted to map it with sales order, and I will be providing some alias name as table maybe, and this should be equal to the sales order from the table. Since we have some of the source defined here, we have to use the table for getting the fields like enter number and this calculated quantity. We are getting some we are just to do the casting here which are acting as some custom fields like that. But since we have this table, we will be using the table for getting the fields. So whenever you are updating the table indirectly, since we are fetching the data of these two fields from this table, you have the data available and you can view the data in the front end. So for that purpose, I am removing these two things and see. Okay, we have the alias name table dot enter number as enter number and table dot calculated underscore quantity. So we have activated the CDS view also. Now what we have done until now is we have created one database table and we will be updating the table not directly but indirectly. We will be seeing in next video how we can update that. But we have created that and we have defined the key field so that whenever we are updating the data, it should update the correct entry, because we have multiple records in which record we have to insert or update. So we will be using the key fields, and whatever the updated things we should be getting in our particular wrap application. There should be some linkage to get the data in the table to our particular wrap application, so that we are using this table in our interface view. And wherever you are using the table, we need the updated data to be presented at the front end. So we are using this particular table for fetching the data for this particular two records, and we have to do the mapping as well. We will be doing that, and we have just established the relationship. Still some things are pending, we will be seeing that in our next video. And we have to see the navigation report header and how can we call the bappy, and if the commit is not there, how can we do the commit since the commits are not allowed. All the things we will be covering up in our next videos. And if you have any particular issue or query, you can do comment as well. And if you want any other particular requirement to be added to this wrap application, please do comment that in the comment section. I will be adding that in the application. So please do like, share and subscribe to this channel for more useful content. See you in the next video.